Scream 6 is the latest sequel to the Scream franchise. This one is a direct sequel to Scream 5, same writer duo, same director duo. This one takes place a year later in New York City. Tara and Sam are now living there. Sam works 2 jobs. Tara's going to school, trying to get an education, and they're trying to move on from the terrible events that happened in Scream 5. But of course, with that terrible stuff happening comes baggage in the new internet age. There's a conspiracy theory that Sam orchestrated the events of Scream 5, and there are people out there who wish to do her and her sister harm. So Scream 6 is a pretty solid sequel, to be honest. The set pieces and the direction's really strong. With a new location and better set pieces, we get some really tension-filled, nail-biting moments, especially at the beginning. There's lots of set pieces. There's about 3 really good ones before the finale. We also get a new slew of new characters, new suspects, new friends, things like new targets, things like that. The movie wonderfully builds up tension in some of these sequences. The movie's also like super long, but it didn't feel that way. Really good pacing because the movie's like a full-on 2 hours, but I was never bored. The movie does also introduce a lot of weird aspects, but they don't always get absolutely explored. For example, conspiracy theories, trauma and PTSD, mental health. There's like a therapy scene that kind of doesn't really go anywhere. We do introduce a couple of half-baked romances in there too, but overall Scream 6 feels a little bit stale because it doesn't take any creative risks with its new cast or anything. You know, it's a solid sequel in its own right. It has plenty of set dressing, Easter eggs, little nods and throwbacks, but it doesn't really have much else going on. It feels like a placeholder film, kind of like any of the sequels you get in another big franchise, which I really enjoyed because I never got to grow up with like the Freddy movies or the Jason movies or the Michael Myers movies. I never got to watch any of those in theaters really as they were coming out. But Scream is a franchise that, you know, I watched the first 3 on home video, but I now get to see them in theaters. So I've seen the last 3 in theaters, the first 3 at home video. So it's nice to be able to jump into a franchise and hit down sequels like the Saw movies or whatever. So that's fun. Also, it's just, you know, I think the writer duo has a problem with finales. They're just not as good as the rest of the movie. Like Scream 5, the first 75% of this movie is really solid, but then by the time you get to the big reveal, the action can be a little underwhelming. There's definitely some stuff that didn't happen in this movie that could have. I just felt like some of the character arcs weren't really amazing. They were just reusing the same arcs from the Scream 5. So in a way, sometimes the movie's really strong. You know, I enjoyed the ride, but the whole package has a lot of problems when you think about it after. So Scream 6 is a solid sequel, and I give it a 6.5 out of 10.